back. Major sporting news this week, which could have major repercussions across all codes. At least 30 former AFL and AFLW players are ready and willing to pursue a historical class action against the AFL over the long-term effects of concussion injuries. It's such a big topic at the moment. Now, if it goes ahead, it will be a first in Australian sport. And one person who knows the realities of contact sport and the impact concussion can have on your life is retired English rugby union player Michael Lipman. Now, he's written a new book. It's called Concussion with his wife, Frankie. It is such an incredible read. Michael, first of all, thank you so much for joining me and for being so open about a topic that I know personally is really difficult for you. In a nutshell, if I can get you to, because we are restricted by time, what is your situation? What's happened to you?
During my career, over 30 concussions at least. When I was 40, diagnosed with early onset dementia and having probable CTE. And yeah, it sort of changed my life forever.
Talk to me about that moment as a 40-year-old, a father of 2 young kids with a beautiful wife, your life ahead of you. You get told that you've got early onset dementia. What does that do to someone?
Yeah, it's pretty soul destroying really, because you go through a whole identity crisis, huge shift in who you are as a person. So having that, and then all of a sudden your employment status, you're walking around with a banner above your head saying, you know, I've got dementia, once it's made public. And, you know, the support was very, very good that I had, but also sort of, it's very hard to deal with.
What do you do to survive this? How do you live day by day? Are you positive?
Yeah, the number one thing you always need to do is make sure you have some routine. So whether it be going for a fish, running, walking, coffee with someone or by yourself, read the paper, whatever it is, find that thing that's going to make you feel good from the very start of the day. And that will set you up as a good till. I choose exercise because it always brings out the endorphins, makes you a lot clearer in the mind. But yeah, that's how every day is a different day. And yeah, it's a bit of a whirlwind of emotions.
You look back on a career and you were an incredible rugby union player. You would always put your body on the line and led with your head quite often. Do you regret parts of your career, any of your career, all of your career, given what you know now?
Given what I know now, look, I don't think anyone would absolutely say, you know, regret my whole career. There's some very, very special moments throughout my career that I'm very, you know, proud of. There certainly would have been, I think, a lot more people in my ear saying, look, I think it's best if you probably sit out this game, you know, rather than every player wants to play, and no one's really going to stop them unless it's, you know, through an HIA or parent or sibling or someone very close to you.
The AFL, as I said at the start, are about to become the victims, I guess you could say, of a major class action. We saw the NFL over in the United States do a similar thing. Are you supportive of this kind of thing, and would you consider being a part of something that, say, took on the rugby union?
Yeah, look, you know, I'm involved in a class action against World Rugby. At the moment.
You are at the moment?
Yeah, right now.
I didn't know that.
So that's been ongoing for about 3 years now.
Right.
And
that's the world...
That's World Rugby, yeah.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
It's the governing body surrounding...
And do they look after the ARU and
they look after all the countries.
And how's that going? Where's that up to?
I can't obviously discuss any of it. But yeah, it's still in the process of...
So you understand and believe very clearly through your actions that players deserve to be compensated?
Absolutely. I mean, at the moment there's 30 in this class action with the AFL, but you'll wait maybe a week, a month, that tally will rise and rise, because I reckon there's so many people out there that are silently suffering that played between, say, the 1970s to the early 2000s that are crippled with some form of mental health issue. But they're silently suffering because they're too scared to actually go and get tested, because they don't want to be seen as a weaker man or anything like that. So they don't want to be vulnerable.
Would you let your kids play contact sport?
Well, my son tomorrow plays his first game for the King Kangaroos in soccer.
Okay,
Self-named the Flamingos. But look, I think the message here is every parent wants to 100% be self-assured that their child is going to go through the correct protocols and safeguards to ensure that they're safe. And if a little bit more here and there isn't done, then you may have, a few more parents sort of not putting their kids in contact sport, which is not what we want. We want people to still play contact sport, but just have it in a way where when a concussion occurs, the exact and the right protocols are taken, whether or not it's a mild, moderate or severe concussion.
You're a couple of years in to your diagnosis. Can you give us an indication, because I know people watching it, people warm to you very quickly. I think they actually would be very fond of you now and care. What does the next few years look like for you? How does this disease work?
Yeah, this disease is like a ticking time bomb. You never know when it's going to come. How do I get through? It's just I get through every day. Every day is a different day. It's a new day. It's a day which is just, full of emotion. And you got to work out what makes you happy. I mean, my family, my wife, making sure, I can do the best I can around the house. Because she has to take on, two jobs just to keep us afloat. And look, it is really hard. It's soul destroying, but still at the same time, gives you an opportunity to do the best you can within your family and your parameters.
I'd love to know what you would say, not just to athletes out there now who are playing contact sport, but to all of us who don't find ourselves in your position. What life reflections do you have, or words of advice, or making the most of things would you say? Yeah,
look, I'd love to see the stigma surrounding concussion, and particularly males in contact sports. Really diving in, being brutally honest with themselves after a concussion, and just make sure they're not feeling like, oh wow, if I have an extra week off, I'm going to let my teammates down. I don't want to be seen as weak or any less of a man. I've just got to make sure that I'm out there on the field. So don't be like that.
Yep, it is so well said. A really brilliant point, Michael Lipman. We wish you all the best. And can I check in with you over the next few months and years?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd love to. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.